Well, here we go with another edition of Foul Tips, the all baseball edition of the 1420 Sports Bar podcast, coming to you today from the Yankee Tavern North in Lethbridge, Alberta, Canada. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the Yankees split with the Red Sox at Fenway Park over the weekend, the Jays continuing woes, and from a very pro-Toronto crowd down in Seattle. I've got a Twitter poll result from over the weekend, and also share with you some news that I received on Saturday concerning the WCBL that I'm quite proud of for myself. No one to thank and pat myself on the back for this one. But anyways, as always, sit back, grab a few beers, and let's get into her. All right, Foul Tips brought to you by SeatGeek and SeatGeek.com. As always, use promo code 1420POD for $20 off your first tickets at 1420POD, and you get $20 off your first purchase for anything that's over $50. I'm glad people are using it. Keep utilizing it. It helps support the show, puts a couple of bucks in our pocket, and then we can keep putting out content for you guys to enjoy and listen to on a daily basis. Part of the Belly Up Sports Network. So Belly Up the Sports Bar with the 1420 Sports Bar podcast, and have some fun with us today. Anyways, over the weekend, the New York Yankees had a split with the Boston Red Sox down in Fenway Park. Two games that they won handily. A game they should have won on Saturday night if it wasn't for the president of the Josh Donaldson fan club, Josh Donaldson, bobbling a ground ball, which should have been a game-ending double play. Gave the Red Sox opportunity for a walk-off hit, and then Verdugo. That guy's I'm sorry. The rope chain, the gold this, the gold that, everything else. I think Verdugo's a nozzle. I'm going to tell my opinion. It's my show. Sorry, Red Sox fan. That's my thought process on that guy, but it's just a thing. But anyways, a game that the Yankees had get away from them, and then they had a game on Sunday Night Baseball. I kind of wish I got to listen to the K-Rod cast with Billy Crystal was on there, and Roger Clemens and the likes. It would have been a nice touch to end the weekend. But unfortunately, here in Canada, only certain things can get shown for whatever reason. Yeah, TSN 3 and 5 only had the same feed of both games. But anyways, we've talked about the media in Canada, how things are a bunch different anyways. But anyways, last night, the turning point, I think it was the sixth inning or seventh, doesn't much matter. I think it was the sixth when Chapman went in. He's just another guy who throws 100 sometimes. He throws 99. His breaking ball was not crossing the plate. They weren't chasing after it. They were sitting on his fastball because everybody everybody throws 100 miles an hour now. Like Chapman threw 105. He was a force. Now that he's only throwing 99, like I said, he's not the intimidating Cuban Missile like he used to be. But anyways, the turning point in the game, I thought, was two fly balls, two pop-ups that DJ LeMahieu, the machine, he went out on. He probably shouldn't have, because Judge clearly would have had the ball to right field, and I think Hicks would have gotten that ball to center field. The two pop-ups got him out of the inning. But anyways, didn't get him out of the inning, and the rest is history. The Jays or the Red Sox beat the Yankees, ended up splitting the series 2 games apiece. I'm not concerned about the division. He's still got a 14-game lead, I believe. I'm not concerned about that. Can there be a change? Yes. Will there be a change? Probably not. Stranger things have happened in this world. We did allegedly put a man on the moon, so anything can happen on a daily basis in the world of baseball. I can't see a 14-game at this with less than half the season remaining. I can't see that changing. It could. So just don't at me or quote me or anything else saying that it's not going to, because anything can happen, like I said, in the world of baseball. But the thing that concerns me the most about this Yankee team is the last 2 big series that they've had, with one with the Houston Astros a couple of weeks back where they split, a fortunate split. They won the it was the Thursday and the Sunday game. They got no hit the Saturday. They were almost no hit on the Sunday game. When they didn't get a hit until I think it was the 8th inning when Giancarlo Stanton got a single or a home run and a home run story and got things going, and then walking off that game. So they're lucky to not get no hit. They were no hit for the better part of 16 innings in a row or more if you went back to Friday night game. So it wasn't a good thing. The thing that concerns me is the 2 big series that they have played, they've split. I'm concerned about their starting pitching. Hugely. Sounded like, or Bigley was what the old Trumper used to say, the Orange Menace. But Bigley, geez, that guy's dumb. But anyways, I'm quite concerned with the starting pitching. Jameson Taillon has not been good his last 4 or 5 starts. Nestor Cortez, he's been great. Got himself an all-star nod yesterday. His last 5 starts, he's been suspect at best. So that does concern me because the Yankees' strength is their bullpen. But if you don't get length out of your starters, which they were beginning of the season, and getting me in the 6th and 7th inning, you're going to start using these guys a lot more. And that's what happened last night, that they had to go to Chapman to try to give him some innings. It was the right time to do it. I like Boone's thought process there, whether it's Boone or whether it's the analytics guys, who knows. But I quite like that move was made, and that they did get some innings in for Chapman, because they're going to need him for the Yankees to have any success to get to the postseason. And in the postseason, whether he's in a closing role, which I don't think he will be, but a mid, a mid guy, not a long relief, but go get a couple of outs. I don't think you're going to see a guy like Chapman get 3 outs anymore. Definitely not a 4-out guy. But if he can get you an out, a spot guy here and there for a matchup, yes, you need to pitch to more than one batter. I get it. But if you can get him into like a 2 to 3 batter situation, and he'll get you out of an inning, I think that's the way to go with Chapman moving forward. But like I said, I'm not concerned with the division getting away with, and they got a 14 game lead on Boston still. It's just everything else that kind of adds up. They strike out a lot still. They're not the 98 Yankees where you knew that they would win every game. We're probably going to win the World Series. I do think that the Houston Astros are still and the Yankees will meet up in the World Series or in the American League Championship Series. I do believe that they are the 2 best teams in the American League. The thing that the Astros have that the Yankees don't is the Astros have a pretty weak division. They'll be able to line up starters and everything else throughout the stretch run. You get in the dog days of August, they can have probably a rest day here and there. Whereas the Yankees, even with the 14 game lead, they still need to match up and make sure they have home field advantage against the Astros, because the Astros play well at home. The Yankees play well at home, and it was shown last year in the wild card game. The Yankees had to go to Fenway Park, and it was a different game. They ended up losing that game. So the Yankees want to continue. They have a 4.5 game lead right now. That 4.5 game lead is going to disappear, I think, because the division, the Yankees are going to start playing some teams that play them a little bit tougher. All of a sudden, the Baltimore Orioles, who won 8 in a row, they're only 2 games out of from away from 500. 3.5 or 4 doesn't much matter out of a wild card spot. I don't expect them to be getting a wild card spot, but it's good to see the Orioles in a spot where they could end up, above 500, which was everybody thought was unheard of when the season started. People thought they were going to lose another 100, have another 100 game season loss or lost season and everything else. The one thing that Bearded Wholesome and from a guy from Baltimore that I do follow on the Twitter machine, he was pretty excited for his Baltimore Orioles. We got off the Yankees for half a second here. That with the how they changed the outfield configuration at Camden Yards, a place I want to go to someday, that will bring in some free agent pitching quite possibly, because playing at the old Camden Yards, it was the outfield was so short, the fence was short, it was a home run haven, especially for the American League East teams. So pitchers and free agent pitching would not come there. Now there's a different configuration there at Camden Yards. You're going to see them signing some free agent pitchers, and if they're young guys who are coming up through the system now, who are playing well right now, if they can keep blossoming, becoming better players, Baltimore might be a team to be reckoned with and make the American League East even stronger than they are right now. It's a good division. It's not the best division, but it's a very good division that's going to eat each other alive in the coming month or so ahead. And that's why I think the Astros have a bit of a advantage. The American League West it's a joke. The Seattle Mariners are playing good right now. I think they won 9 in a row, but they did have the Toronto Blue Jays who are struggling. We'll get in a second. But I do believe that the Astros it's going to come down in the last couple of days of the season. So every win that the Yankees can get right now is very important. There's a big series coming up at Yankee Stadium, I believe, in a couple of weeks. No, it doesn't matter where it is. It's a big series coming up in a couple of weeks with the Houston Astros. That's going to determine a lot coming the playoff time and home field advantage for the playoffs. So it's very important that the Yankees can win a few games here and there and wipe up on the teams they should. I think they got the Reds next before the All-Star break, so they should be able to pull a few here. The Reds aren't as bad as they were when the season started. Another concern that I got with the Yankees, and I think I've had this concern since they signed the guy, is Garrett Cole. He's a hell of a pitcher. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't say he's worth every penny because he must be worth it because someone paid him. But I have a concern with the way Cole can just not be that guy. He's not that shutdown guy. He's not the Juan Guzman of the Toronto Blue Jays back in the 90s. He's not Randy Johnson. He's not Kurt Schilling. He's not, go down the list, Roger Clemens. He's not that shutdown guy. He can pull a stinker. He seems to give up a lot of home runs early in games that puts teams behind. Then you got to be thinking bullpen with him. I don't think he's that guy moving forward. I hope I'm wrong as the season goes on and we do get into the playoffs. And I'm not the Yankees, but as the Yankees get in the playoffs, he can make a few adjustments in his game and go from there. The Yankees bullpen needs some rest. Every team is going through this, and pitchers get injured. Every team has injuries to pitchers. I get it. Every team utilizes their bullpens more. I get it. I don't like it. I don't like the way the game's played now compared to what it was 20 years ago, because I still believe that the more human beings that you put that little white baseball in their hands, the more chance you're going to have to screw things up, because that's how human beings are, man. We screw things up, and the more opportunities you have for human beings to do it, they'll find a way, or we will find a way, is one way of putting it. So anyways, I expect the stretch run after the all-star break to be quite exciting for that division lead, and not the division lead, but the home field advantage to get in the playoffs. I expect the Houston Astros to take that, just because how bad man, is it disappointing how bad the Angels are. Hey, like, just going into Baltimore and getting swept. Like I said, Baltimore's playing some better baseball, but that's got to be a kick in the pills for Mike Trout and Ohtani, because, geez, that team is struggling. Joe Namath struggling, not good. Going to be interesting to see what happens. I'm worried about the big series that the Yankees don't seem to take. You can only play who's in front of you. They have a great record still. I'm not maybe smudging them, but they're 5-5 in their last 10. They're 34-9 at home, so that's why I want them to take home field advantage. They're 61-25 overall. As a Yankee fan, I can't complain about that. They're still on pace for 119 wins, which might be a record, 118 wins. So it's right there. Just got to play hard and see where the chips fall where they made. But anyways, it was an exciting few games in Fenway. Like I said the other night on Foul Tips the other day, I have been to Fenway. Hope to go there for a Yankee series someday. Me and Deanne, I don't forget if I brought this up to you guys. We're going to New York to see Billy Joel for her 40th birthday in August. So we're going to catch a Yankees game against the Toronto Blue Jays. I think I did bring that up, but I said I'll rub it into you guys who are listening to the show on a faithful basis, which I do. Thank you for listening to the show. But anyways, the 1420 Sports Podcast, Foul Tips, brought to you by SeatGeek and SeatGeek.com. Make sure you use promo code 1420POD. That's 1420POD. Save yourself $20 for beer money. Thanks for listening. We'll talk to you guys in a second. Foul Tips in the 1420 Sports Bar Podcast, brought to you by Fans Edge and FansEdge.com. Get all your sports memorabilia, apparel, goods, whatever you need from Fans Edge, and you get 20% off shipping here in Canada and free shipping to the United States. There's all kinds of sale items on their site. They're part of Fanatics, so everything you possibly could need for all your fan gear needs at Fans Edge and FansEdge.com. Anyways, the Toronto Blue Jays pulled a stinker off in front of a very pro-Toronto crowd down in Seattle at T-Mobile Park, which is always going to be Safeco to me. Over the weekend, getting swept all 4 games, culminating in a late inning loss. The bullpen blew another game last night in Seattle. The Jays, they're struggling, 1-9 in their last 10. The season that had so many prognosticators having the Jays winning the World Series, not only the division, but the World Series. They probably didn't expect the mighty Yankees to be having the season that they're having, but the Jays can still make the playoffs with the wild card berth problem they got right now. They're actually closer to the last place Baltimore Orioles than they are to second place in the division. So it's only by half a game, but it's actually how math works. So it is a number that I can throw out there. But it's not looking good for the Jays. Like I said, they had a players-only meeting after the game yesterday, the second one of the year. How much good those things do, who knows? I don't know. But it's obvious that there's a problem inside that clubhouse. They know that they're underachieving. They know that they have guys that aren't playing well. You can blame it all on the relief pitching, but you also lost Ryu earlier on with arm problems. Kikuchi hasn't been good at all. They're really struggling. Vladdy's not been good at the plate, taking some wild hacks at inopportune times, swinging at pitches he normally wouldn't be swinging at, losing counts early. Stuff, if you watch baseball like I do, you can see that he's really struggling. He had a ball go through his glove, So the baseball gods aren't looking well on the Jays right now. They have some starting pitching problems. Like I said, with Kikuchi and Ryu aren't going good. They have starting pitching right now with guys that probably shouldn't be up in the big leagues, guys that should be in the minors, guys that I don't know their names. I probably shouldn't know their names. They tried that opener thing, I think it was on Thursday night, and that backfired big on them. It didn't go well at all. They have a lot of guys that aren't playing well. The Jays, I thought the expectations were a little bit high for them to be winning a World Series, considering that they didn't make the playoffs last year. Yes, it was a one game deal that they're out by one game on the last day of the season. But I've always said you can't win the World Series in April, but you can sure lose it. Losing these games that they did to Seattle, yes, Seattle's playing better. They're 9 in a row. I think they're playing a lot better baseball. I did pick them to have to win the division, because I'll never pick Houston to win their division, because there's still a bunch of cheating assholes. But I quite like the Seattle team when the season started. This Jays team, I had bigger expectations than what they're doing right now. Is it Montoya's fault? Is Montoya on the hot seat? I doubt it, because the thing is with these managers that these GMs get now are pretty much yes men, and you go right through the league. There's not many old time managers, and a lot of them are just analytics driven yes men who they just do what they're told. Yes, they do have some input, and there is meetings with the analytics guys, with the nerds as I call them. So I don't think Montoya is in a heap of trouble, but you never know. Atkins might be the guy to be in the hot seat, but he came with the other guy, so it's fine. Not having the bullpen, they got guys who don't throw hard out of the bullpen, where every other team in baseball has guys who throw 100, 102 now. Last night they were doing it, and they had Verdugo mic'd up. I still think he's a nozzle, like I brought up the last segment, but he said baseball's not too far away from having guys who routinely throw 105. It's not far away, man. It wasn't that many years ago. It's a lot of years ago now when Nolan Ryan pitched, but he was the only guy who threw 100 consistently. Now you got everybody's got a couple of guys in their bullpen who touch 100, and it's just the way it is. You're going to see guys throwing 105 no time soon. So kudos to Verdugo for being able to speak through his chain and his gold pads and everything else. Nozzle. But anyways, the Jays just don't have that guy coming out of the pen. They're not hitting well. Yeah, Bichette is a good player, not a great player. He's hitting the ball a little bit better, but up and down the line, they aren't getting the job done. I don't know. They got to make a deal, because they have a team right now that should be able to do some damage. They have guys under contract control right now with Vladdy, with Bichette, but they're going to have to pay them soon. So they're going to have to go out and spend some money right now and make some deals and get rid of some prospects. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I won't take credit for coming up with this one. It was the MLB radio on Sirius XM. Prospects are cool, but championships are cooler. Sorry, and rings are cooler. So if you have prospects that you can get rid of to go out and get a guy an arm or two, the Jays need to do it, because right now they do not have the bullpen arms or the starting pitching. And like I said, they're only a half a game away from being basement dwellers in the National or in the American League East. And it's a very tight division all of a sudden now, with Baltimore doing so well. And the Jays aren't going to catch the Yankees, but they do need secure a wild card spot, because anything can happen once you get in the playoffs. If they don't make a move soon, I think you're going to see major shakeup in Toronto in the offseason. It's falling away. This 1-9 their last 10 isn't just a small sample size. They've been bad for about a month and a half now, and baseball can get away from you quick. Once again, you can't win the World Series in July, but you can sure lose it. And the Jays are trying to piss this one away. You got other teams playing better right now. Is Cleveland good enough? No, Cleveland's not good enough for a wild card spot. Chicago's probably not going to be a wild card team either. But now with the emergence of Seattle, and then the Red Sox playing better baseball, there's not much room for wiggle room here. So you're going to have a team not make the playoffs, and it could be the Toronto Blue Jays for a team that had aspirations of a World Series ring, their first one since '93, when they had the highest payroll in baseball, I might add, because I get a kick out of Jays fans calling the Yankees buying World Series, when the only 2 World Series that the Jays won, they had the highest payroll in baseball at the time. So it's always a good pushback for me when Jays fans do bring that up. So anyways, I hope the Jays do well. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Baseball is a lot more fun for me to watch in Canada as being a Yankee fan when other people are excited about the Jays and they get into her. We're a hockey nation, but when the Jays are rolling, this entire country of ours, it only has 30 million. But we all get behind it. I don't. I'm still a Yankee fan through and through, but I will cheer for the Jays when they're not playing the Yankees to see them succeed. Because, like I said, it brings a lot more excitement to sports bars throughout the country, and sports talk radio and everything else. It adds more content for independent podcasts like myself and Jim at Fan of the Van podcast. Thank you for the shout out, as always, that you provided us on the 1420 Sports podcast and your podcast, Fan of the Van. I know you're probably a little antsy with the Yankees and their weekend performance and what they're going to do. You're a big Yankee fan. Like I said earlier on, over the weekend, I'd like to meet up with you when we head to New York. It'd be a lot of fun to actually put a face to the name and the voice and everything else. So, anyways, yeah, Jays. I hope you guys can make some deals, get things rolling a little bit, because I do think you have a good team. And like I said, it's more of a selfish situation for me. I'd like to see the Jays do well, because it adds excitement to our country with the game of baseball, and kids follow a little bit more when their team's going. So, anyways, 1420 Sports Podcast for Sports Bar Podcast and Foul Tips brought to you by Fans Edge and fansedge.com for all your sports merchandise and memorabilia needs. The Foul Tips Podcast, the all baseball edition of the 1420 Sports Bar Podcast, brought to you by SeatGeek and Fans Edge and everything else you can. And Bodog will get Luke's Lock of the Week on the next time I talk to 1420 Dave. I think it's tomorrow night, Tuesday night. Dave is back from the United States. His vacation home down in Whitefish, Montana. So it's always fun when Dave joins us here at the Sports Bar Podcast. We have a lot of laughs throughout the 2 years we've been doing this. Anyways, over the weekend, I ran the old Twitter poll. It's an easy conversation. It's always had. Pretty much I went to the 30 and over crowd. So if you're under 29, you can still keep a baseball. But to the 30 and over crowd, if you catch a home run ball at a Major League Baseball game, what are you most likely to do? The three choice were: give it to a kid, keep it, throw it back. 58% of the vote said give it to a kid. 39% said keep it, and 2.9% of the votes to throw it back. The one that I laughed the most was not laughed at, but a guy by the name of Brad Stuber. He's out in Hawaii now. He's a Cubs fan. He replied on the Twitter machine. He's never caught a home run ball. To be honest, he'd keep his first one, then give it to a kid, moving forward forever. Unless he was at Wrigley Park and it's opponent's home run, then he's throwing it back. So he ran the gamut there a little bit. So Brad, thanks for the response. Fan of the Van Jim, he always responds to my Twitter polls. If there's a kid who would have caught the ball, who would have caught it, and if there's a kid who could have caught it, I give it to him. No kids around, I'm keeping it, but always kids first. We all had our time to catch a home run ball. Steven 2 cents. If I'm with my kids, they get it. If not, I take a pitch with it and give it to a kid. Besides, everyone knows to record the game you're going to. Good point. And you record it just in case you end up on TV. Very good point, Steven 2 cents. Thanks for report. And then Ryan Wills, he said giving it to a kid unless it's a historical or significant home run, and then he's probably keeping her. So everybody who responds to our Twitter polls, we thank you very much. I'm probably going to keep my first home run ball just because I'm greedy that way. Then after that, any kid around me, I've gotten a ball, but I got it back. I think I've told the story before. Carlos Beltran threw a ball up in the stands at Yankee Stadium. I caught it, gave it to a kid, and then the mom, she gave it back to me as I was leaving the stadium. So we ran into each other, and she said that that ball meant a lot more to me than it did to her daughter. So I ended up getting the ball back in return. So a little bit of karma for that family for sure is coming your way. Thank you very much, everybody who listens to the show and responds on the Twitter machine to our polls and any other goofy stuff that I come up with on here. Anyways, on Saturday afternoon, I guess, I got some news across the email that I would be participating in the WCBL All-Star Game as an umpire. I think I'm doing first base that night. To quite an honor. I'm quite proud of myself. It was a goal that I set out for myself before the season started to get myself in that game, whether it's a performance-based or whether I was just willing to do it for whatever reason, who knows. But I managed to get myself as an umpire in the WCBL, which is a Woodback college-based summer baseball league here in Western Canada. I'm quite proud that I got to meet a guy to work a lot of games with here in the Lethbridge area with Brandon Oberg, another guy by Chris Hartley and Jamie Thiessen, I think, is the other guy that's going to be joining us on the field. But it's in Okotoks, Alberta on the 24th, I believe, or 23rd, sorry, on a Saturday. So if you can tune in on, I think it's Home Team Live, might see me umpire a game. I'm glad they didn't come to the game on Saturday night before they did the evaluations to see who was getting in that All-Star game. Because I had one of the worst games I've had in my illustrious umpiring career. It wasn't a very good one. I wasn't very good. There was another rejection I'm not too proud of. I got that pitch right in the second inning, but the kid, he didn't like my call. I watched it over and over, and I know I got that one right. So I'm not too upset with throwing the kid out. He got a little bit jarry with me, I guess is one way of putting it. But I definitely got that call right. And I had the rest of the game. I wasn't one of my better performances, but I struggled through her. We made her. So, anyways, thank you very much to the WCBL, and thank you very much to the umpire assigners throughout the in the league that are getting me into that game. Everybody else who's watched me play, and for people who got me back in the game a couple of years ago, it's greatly appreciated. On other news, I got a article coming up in Lethbridge News Now. It's a long-awaited. Something's finally going to happen. Just waiting for a picture to get some copyright laws done. So it'll be up on Lethbridge News Now. I'll put it up on the Twitter machine on my my own at Brent Redlinski and at 1420 Sports. We'll get it up on there as well. So it's a baseball article to a friend of mine that we lost due to COVID last year. It's an ode to him, I guess. Everything that went on in the world of baseball from about 1997 to when he got me back in the game in 2019. So it's a nice little story. And thank you to Lethbridge News Now for getting me on there. Once again, thanks to everybody who listens, retweets, supports the show, uses our promo codes, everything else that helps us put the content out there. We got a lot of good stuff coming up in the very near future. Like I said, we got Dave coming on the show tomorrow, joining me back on a Tuesday night, which will be fun. Maybe Thursday again, depending baseball, Friday, Saturday. We'll get shows out whenever time commits with baseball and Dave's busy schedule as well. But anyways, that's another edition of Foul Tips on part of the 1420 Sports Bar podcast. And remember, everybody, smart people bunt.